Hi everyone, welcome to this update video. I hope you're doing good this morning, and we're going to be taking a look at what is going on across the eastern and central Pacific as well as the Atlantic basin. So focus will be on the Atlantic, but there are a couple of active systems in or adjacent ocean basins. So we're going to be taking a look at those first, and here we are looking at the satellite imagery, and we can see there's Hurricane Gilma right there. It is a weakening system, and well to the west of Gilma is Tropical Storm Hone, and Hone has prompted a tropical storm warning in effect for the Big Island of Hawaii, and there's another disturbance there which might try to develop over the coming days. So go into the cone forecast for Hone. Here we can see it. So it may make a very close approach to the Big Island of Hawaii and going into early Sunday, and we can see that blue highlight representing the tropical storm warning. So even though the center is going to be offshore, we can see the extent of the tropical storm force winds. So by the time the system is closer to the southern tip of the Big Island, then tropical storm conditions will likely occur there. So a lot of heavy rainfall, those tropical storm force winds, and of course those really rough seas. And then by the time it's going to be passing, it may intensify into a hurricane while it continues generally to the west-northwest or northwest. So residents in the Big Island are being urged to take the necessary precautions as Hone approaches to ensure that all preparations are in place ahead of the system. Next, we're heading on to Gilma. So Gilma was a major hurricane, but it has been weakening steadily, so it's down to a Cat 2, and it will continue to weaken over the coming days. And then whatever's left of it by around the mid to latter part of next week may make their way to the vicinity of Hawaii. So Gilma hasn't been much of a bother for anyone. And then as for that next disturbance, as I said, it has a high chance to develop. So it's a bit festive over in the Pacific. And now we're heading to the Atlantic, and take a look at this. We can see lots of action in parts of the Caribbean, near the Bahamas, and even look into the African coast. There's a pretty massive tropical wave which is emerging. So we want to watch that for some potential development down the road, and models are definitely suggesting that. So looking closer to the Caribbean, though, we can see, as I said, lots of showers and thunderstorms for parts of the Bahamas, a couple spots in Cuba as well, and even for Jamaica, especially yesterday, there's been a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity across the island. Looking towards Central America, it is a similar story, especially for Belize. Earlier in the Bay Islands, there's been quite a bit going on, even for the Keys as well, the offshore islands of Belize. It's been pretty active. And headed to the Eastern Caribbean, we see that rain cluster and even thunderstorms near Trinidad and Tobago. So quite active right now in the Caribbean. And as we look at the rainfall forecast for today, we can see the map being pretty colorful for the vicinity of the Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, even the Cayman Islands, and towards Central America as well, indicating that there's likely to be some decent rainfall in some spots later today. And even as we head to the vicinity of northern South America, we can see some of those very vibrant shadings, lots of rain, probably in excess of 4 inches or so. And with that, there could be instances of flooding. So that's for Colombia. Then for parts of Venezuela, there could be some heavy downpours as well. A couple of thunderstorms may pop up in some sections of Guyana. But then for Suriname, French Guiana, it may be on the drier side today. As we head to Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, the Grenadines, St. Vincent, Barbados, maybe even near St. Lucia, there could be some decent rainfall today as well. As we saw, there's a cluster of shower and thunderstorm activity within the vicinity of Trinidad. But then as we head further north, mostly scattered showers for the Leeward Islands, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and even to the Turks and Caicos Islands and parts of Hispaniola as well. Then for the ABC Islands, it's likely to be on the drier side as we head through today. So that is what is expected in terms of the rainfall forecast. And so as I was mentioning, we definitely will have to keep our eyes on that next tropical wave emerging from Africa. And then as we're going to be taking a look at the ensembles here for the Euro and GFS, we're kickstarting with the Euro. And the more of those L's we see, the different tracks, when we see a whole lot of them, that gives more of an agreement, or more of a likelihood rather, of seeing something actually develop within whatever time frame it is. So as we're going to be heading to Monday, the 2nd of September. So as we're going to be kickstarting the new month, take a look at this. We see all these members suggesting that, hey, something could be heading to the Caribbean or near the Caribbean by this time. And even as we take a look at the GFS members, we see a bit more action showing something potentially headed to the Gulf later in the month. Also, could see something or even more than one system head into the vicinity of the Caribbean as we kickstart the month of September. So it's likely to get pretty active, and models have been pretty much suggestive of these systems, maybe seeing something try to get itself together in the Gulf or even on its way to the Caribbean. And that is not something surprising to see at all. We're heading to the peak of the hurricane season, so we're bound to see that increase in tropical development. So as of right now, nothing is marked, but we do have those hints, as I've been talking about, of seeing something late August and as we kickstart the month of September. And so guys, that is basically what I wanted to share with you in this update video, and I do hope that you found it to be informative. However, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I have the chance to do so, and remember to always be weatherwise.